Mr. Transformers 96 here with another video review. This time we have the Marvel Legends from the Defenders Wave Man-Thing Build-A-Figure. So let's get started here. This was the Build-A-Figure of the Defenders Wave, and overall when it was revealed, I was happy with his bulk and was very happy that you only needed to buy 6 figures to complete him. However, character-wise, not super excited, and that does happen from time to time with Build-A-Figures. However, a lot of times once I receive the Build-A-Figure, I get a spark of energy with it, and I end up enjoying it at least to some degree. This one, unfortunately, didn't really happen. Wasn't really excited to get this Build-A-Figure, and once I got it, it was exactly how I expected, and that's kind of about it. I really haven't done much with this Build-A-Figure, so that's my overall basic thoughts, just going straight into the review here. But it is a solid figure in general. However, I think that I speak for everybody on the face of the earth when I say that Kingpin would have been the much more logical and much more appreciated Build-A-Figure in this wave. So that is definitely a shame. He'll always have to, we all know that he definitely should have been Kingpin. But anyway, let's go over the actual figure here. First of all, his weird head sculpt. Man-Thing is essentially what I would assume is like the Marvel's version of Swamp Thing, or Swamp Man, whatever it is, who's obviously much more popular. I don't know much about Man-Thing, but I would guess it's something similar to Swamp Thing, where he is an experiment gone wrong type of deal, but I'm not quite sure. But overall, he's got a weird face, very strange design for his face. The figure, though, is very nice. I do like the way that the face is so elongated. The paint on it is just as good as everything else. There's so much detail throughout this entire figure. It's very much like Abomination, that type of sculpt, or Rhino, where there's just a ton of detail throughout it. His detail, though, is even more extreme, so it does pop a lot more. And then, of course, the paint is really nice. It's in certain areas, for the most part, it's like a light green, and they've kind of washed like a gray into it, maybe a bit of a bluish actually. And then there's some like a lighter tan that's kind of washed into some of the areas that are more furry, which I think is quite nice. I think that was a good idea to kind of show a distinction between those type of textures. I think that looks very nice. The dude has some like scale parts on this side. His feet look very vicious, which is kind of neat. So I love the work that's been put into this Build-A-Figure. It's absolutely wonderful as far as sculpting is concerned, and then the painting just absolutely highlights the sculpting. So it doesn't get any better than that as far as a technical standpoint is concerned. It's just really the only things I don't like about it are the character, essentially. But anyway, as far as articulation goes, he's got a ball jointed head. It can look up about this far, so not too much, but it can go like, away from his body, basically. He can look down about that far, and he can look side to side a bit, nothing extreme, but he can do a little bit. Shoulders, ball hinge with a bicep swivel, single hinge elbows, which go just about 90 degrees, and then his wrists are ball hinge. The hinge is kind of hard to manipulate. It's you really have to, and it pops out very easily. You do really have to kind of force it to go, because it is a very strong joint. I've noticed that on both sides, as well as, like you just saw, the hand has a tendency to pop out, and that's on both sides. So because it's the same on both sides for me, I do think that that's not just my copy. I think it's probably everybody's. As far as his torso is concerned, he has an ab crunch, which can go forward this far, and can go back quite far, which is nice. Swivel at the waist. He's got ball jointed hips, which can kick out quite far, as you can see, and can go to the side extremely far as well. Swivel thighs, double hinge knees, which have a really nice range to them, and then he has hinge pivoting ankles. Based on the pictures, I thought that there was like a hinge here, and that would have been a nice way to make him a bit different, give him a sparkle of individuality as far as the articulation is concerned. Unfortunately, though, it's not the case. He doesn't have a hinge at the toe. It's just your standard hinge pivoting ankles, so from Marvel Legends that we always get. But yeah, solid figure. Do love the way that the hands are sculpted as well. Love the vicious expression on them, and the nails. They look very, very cool. Giving you a bit of a size comparison here with some of the other figures in this wave. Here he is with taller figure in the wave, being Punisher, and then somewhat shorter figure in the wave, being Jessica Jones. As you can see, he's very nice. He's much taller than both of them, and obviously he is much bulkier. So overall, I think that this is a really solid figure. I really don't have any complaints with it for the most part from a technical standpoint. My only issue is really concerned with the quality of the wrist joints, and that's about it. I think that the sculpting and painting and articulation is all top-notch, nothing wrong there. I love the bulk for a Build-A-Figure, and I love that you only need to buy 6 figures to complete him. Everything is perfect. However, character-wise, doesn't excite me in the slightest. I picture, and I don't know much about Man-Thing, so please don't mistake me, but I do kind of picture the character as being somebody that obviously lives in a swamp, and he looks like somebody that moves slowly. Like, he can be vicious at times, but he's just a slow mover. That's the type of impression I get just by looking at him. So because of that, putting him in some kind of like creepy stances is kind of fun, but doing like actual, posing, there's not a whole lot you can do. And I also don't know, what other characters he interacts with. So maybe if I had some background knowledge as far as that's concerned, I'd be able to pose him with other figures and have a bit more fun because I can incorporate more, characters with him. But without knowing that information and being too lazy to pull up Google, it did become just not a very fun figure, pretty standard in general. However, the figure itself is really well done as far as its execution. It's just my personal preference that got in the way of me fully enjoying it. So there you go. And of course, I really want Kingpin. I'm hoping we'll get a Kingpin Build-A-Figure, and Kingpin should have absolutely been the Build-A-Figure of this wave. But there you go. That's my video review of the Marvel Legends from the Defenders or Netflix series, the Man-Thing Build-A-Figure. Let me know what you guys think of this Build-A-Figure and the wave in general, and thanks so much for watching.